started creating one video tonight. Kind of went in a different direction. I don't know whether the darkness is coming from like the glare. Um, this points where my face looks pitch black. I know I used to get a lot of jokes growing up, being called struck match, whatever. Um, I remember there was another person I grew up with in Boy Scouts, and he was actually African, hence one of the reasons why they called him Goat Hoarder. And this program I used to go to, I met a female who actually she received reverse discrimination because she grew up in Jamaica, and kids made fun of her because how light her skin was. I mean, she was sort of light skinned black, sort of not pitch black like you would see like the typical Jamaican or like anyone who grew up in that climate. But it's funny how that works. How like if you're just different by any means, then you're kind of destined to be ostracized. The story kind of made me think of Bob Marley because you wouldn't even think he was half black, half white until you would begin to research him. But yeah, I started making one video tonight. It kind of derailed into something else, but um, hopefully this will be my last video before I actually get into everything I have to do. In fact, I'm gonna power up my computer so by the time I finish making this video in another 13 minutes, I can start typing whatever I need to type to post it wherever I need to post it. And also, when I did a search upstairs, I have a little clock radio. It's like a Sony Mod Dash. If you were to Google that, you'll see exactly what I have. And I inputted MRC rollers into the search engine. The app itself is pretty faulty, so my computer's doing some weird stuff. But anyway, I just sort of lost my train of thought. But yeah, I was talking about my Sony alarm clock, and I noticed that there was quite a few videos I made 2 or 3 years ago that didn't make its way on YouTube. So I know that the videos are on the tablet. So at some point tonight, not tonight, before I leave, because there's other things that take priority. Like hopefully, if I'm not allowed to take this tablet with me, I'll at least find like a suitable substitute, because I have one tablet that I shipped off to get repaired. And I mean, there's a lot of benefits with me leaving on Saturday, but there are a lot of like consequences that'll come along with it. The biggest consequence is not being able to attend a funeral of a family member. With that, I'm not going to go any further because, I was talking with, I'm not going to say who, but, just the fact that I mentioned that that particular family member is on life support, that alone is reason for them to, like, not tell me information. In fact, my mom, I had a friend of mine, I met him through kindergarten. Um, well, his name is Rob. We went to the same school together. I went from kindergarten to second grade, and then Boy Scouts is how like we really became friends. I mean, I remember he spent the night prior to that, but that's part of the reason why his father encouraged me to get into the troop. But yeah, ironically, we didn't go to for between third and fifth grade. That's when I went from District 26 to not District 29, which I live in District 26, and the PS 98. That's a whole other experience that I can dedicate another video to, as well as my time in 67. But all the friends well, not friends, but the closest friends I made from Boy Scouts and even other people from PSC 51, we sort of all made our way to Cardozo. And long story short, I wasn't really even close to him um, in high school, there was some incident in the troop which someone got kicked out, and because of that, other people chose to leave the troop as well. And fortunately, I had no intentions on leaving, but just the how the whole dynamic changed, where there's practically nobody there anymore. I just opted to like one day like stop going. And long story short, he eventually got married, and like I remember there was something my mom didn't want to show me, and then my dad was looking through like a tablet of there was a link to like um, may have been connected to his honeymoon registry, but it had a website with information on how the bride met the groom, vice versa, pictures of probably like the wedding itself, the honeymoon, and all of that was like kept from my hands, and for whatever reason by my mom, because she claims that I take everything and I put it on Twitter, and I put it on like whatever. I just learned that my grandmother, um, like I mentioned in my last video talking to Butch, my grandmother specifically, uh, from what I heard, she specifically asked my cousin to delete her account because of images of me looking titties in Times Square, because it was part of a No Underwear Day 2013, the first year they did it. And then I find out from my brother that her Facebook was not deleted, but she wanted to delete me because of the comments that I write, which is not surprising because I don't really hold anything back. In fact, I think the biggest sort of like backlash I got was from like all the female bodybuilding content that found its way on Facebook, and you can find it on YouTube. And going to a family reunion back in 2009, having like family members that I don't know from like a stranger approaching me, me not knowing them, and they're asking me like what the deal is with that shit, and you know, I mean, people you don't know, friends, that's people you went to school, that's one thing, but family is just, it's, I don't know. I guess my family isn't different from most families in the fact that there's drama, like, on a small scale to a large scale, and not every family's perfect. Something I should have mentioned, but I'm gonna say it anyway because this is just how I feel. But um, related to the, what happened on 9/11, I mean, it was a pretty tragic event, and I realize that like people are not gonna like get along with each other, but I mean, fast forward 12 years, I mean, there's a lot of things that I overhear, a lot of things that I see firsthand, a lot of things that I read in a book, and I mean, some information is incorrect, some information is shallow, and I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, somebody died through unfortunate circumstances, and the least we can do is like bury all that petty bullshit and just like what's the expression I'm looking for? Take the high road, even if you don't feel like taking the high road. Like it says in the Bible to love your enemies, and I'm pretty sure like my brother had a concern that these videos were meant to like vent, and to like all the disagreements that I was just talking about. I mean, yeah, I mean, people have their own opinions. That's one of the reasons why people create these videos. But I mean, luckily we have like a First Amendment right. Then again, I'm not gonna like take a direct sort of like I mean, I realize I just named my last video after my brother, specifically after he told me he doesn't want to be involved in it whatsoever. But if someone tells me directly, like for instance, I have like a 7-year-old niece, and like I was told not to put on a camera again, So, I mean, after she told me directly what, her grandmother said to her, I said, okay, that's not going to happen again. Um, with this current um, situation that my family's going through, I said what I said, and I'm not going to say anything further, at least not right now, where, like, that news. Um, I mean, sometimes going back to, I talked about in another video about there was an incident when I first heard about my Uncle Tommy committing suicide, and I wrote a comment, and I got a phone call, and basically my aunt was basically telling me, like, I know your family, but, like, can you please take it down because his own son doesn't even know it yet. I mean, what I posted was, if anybody's thinking about contemplating suicide, please seek the help that you need. I just heard some very disturbing news. And I made a comment. As a matter of fact, my aunt Marilyn was on the phone at the time where my mom and brother was trying to tell me that, like, out of the four of us, I have two brothers and a sister, that my parents invested the most time and energy into me, but as a direct result, like, I've given the least amount of, like, sort of results from that, all the running back and forth between piano lessons, Boy Scouts, um, there were swimming lessons. I mean, there was a point where I didn't even think wasn't going to graduate high school, and I look back upon that, everything my mom did for me, and to, like, come short of something I always took for granted, something I was going to achieve. And I really, like, going back to that dark year 2001, I was not in a, like, pos- good position whatsoever. But and then that's a whole nother topic. Maybe, like, with there's, like, a handful of therapists I've been to, and there's only one or two people that I share that whole experience with. In fact, the last one the last person I talked to, therapist, not that I broke down and cried, but I remember, like, leaving out of the office, and I was on the subway platform. Was I going to, like, jump in front of the subway? No. I mean, did I feel like wanting to break down and cry? Um, I had those emotions, but yeah, I got 2 minutes left. One thing I wanted to do was share this right here. I know I shared my tattoo. Trying to get it at the best angle. Um, I shared it at one or two other videos, and from the light, like, it was really hard to see. Um, yeah, yeah, I am. But maybe that's a clearer picture. There's, like, a lot of red spots, a lot of ointment on it, and like I said, I need to. The tattoo artist took a picture. I could take a picture with this, but it's kind of hard to take, a standard picture when you only have a front-facing camera. Uh, but yeah, what did you need?
I don't want to hear that stuff,
I mean, as much as, like, I would like to, like, accommodate that. Like, it's just I don't have the same type of lighting upstairs, where, like, my face is, like, dark enough as is.
okay? Okay, but while you're doing that, that internet bill that you're using to load that up, paid by these people. You were calling again.
I remember when I was in, like, New Orleans and Chicago. I mean, I can go in front of, like, a Starbucks or, like, a public Wi-Fi, and, like, use, like, guilt-free internet and not worry that I'm using somebody else's
Well,
water,
there's plenty of
electricity.
Wi-Fi around here.
Yeah, there's Wi-Fi at Dunkin' Donuts.
Why don't you do that up there then?
I mean, you're sort of obligated to, like, buy something.
Okay? What I'm saying to you is, again, I don't want to hear that stuff. I understand you're venting. I don't want to hear the stuff, the subject matter you're talking about. You're subjecting me